There is a strange mental illness called body dysmorphia, where the sufferer, even if they are average or above average in physical attraction, cannot shake the feeling that they are but ugly or perhaps deformed in the sight of others. And there's nothing anybody can do to shake this belief. There could be unanimous agreement that says, darling, you are a 7, you are an 8, you are beautiful. They say, no, I'm ugly. And they feel that way. And when they look at themselves in the mirror, that's what they experience, even though it's a delusion. It's not based in reality. Okay? I don't have that. But as an analogy, I have something similar, metaphorically, but it's towards reality itself. I have what I refer to as um, reality dysmorphia, where everything appears ugly, disinteresting, and therefore meaningless. It induces a subtle suffering, because there's a kind of diabolical undertone, if you will, that encompasses everything, and I can't shake this feeling that the world around me is just a just a monstrosity, just a just a disgusting, almost vomit-inducing thing. Even when it comes to things that are ostensibly innocuous and ostensibly normative, like going into a grocery store. There's something about just this being a colorless world that aesthetically troubles me a great deal because there's just no beauty here. You go into a Walmart, it's white fluorescent lights that are overbearing, they're obnoxious, white tile, white walls, all of the fucking packaging is covered in plastic. Therein is a bunch of poisonous artificiality that's not for human consumption. I just look around and I get this feeling of just, what is this horrible place? I feel like SpongeBob and Patrick in that episode where they were about to get eaten by the Flying Dutchman, and they went into this parallel reality where they walk into the perfume department. Remember that episode? They're fish, by the way, but they go into this parallel reality where these fish are going around in a world filled with humans at a mall. They enter the perfume department and they're just huffing up all of these toxic fumes and they're gagging, and they finally find their way out of that mess and go back to their reality. They're like, what the fuck was that? That's how reality dysmorphia feels for me. I feel like SpongeBob and Patrick when they were in the perfume department in that one episode. That's how I feel. There's just something not right about this place. It's all wrong. It's all wrong. And if not because of its downright evil and suffering-inducing qualities, it's just the fact that it's aesthetically unpleasing. It's just ugly. And this ugliness, this lack of beauty is just hostile towards my spirituality because I love beauty. I love beautiful classical music. I love beautiful pieces of art. And even though my attraction to beautiful women, I know that that's probably ultimately an illusion. That's for procreative purposes. I could say that that's a beautiful woman. This is a beautiful scenery. You can make a postcard out of this. Even though it's the very matrix that enslaves me. At least with nature, there are beautiful qualities, but when it comes to this concrete jungle of ours, I get this reality dysmorphia where everything is just so fucking disgusting. And even though I'm nauseous in a subtle kind of way, metaphorically, I have an antagonism. I feel hostile towards it, and people think I'm crazy. They say, Garret, this is normative. This is innocuous. It's just fucking Walmart, bro. Or it's just a shopping mall, bro. It's just you're just standing in a parking lot by a McDonald's and a 7-Eleven, bro. But I'm telling you, man, there's just something about the artificiality of the pavement that doesn't allow a single piece of grass to grow. And all of the trees that are planted are kind of superimposed to make it feel natural, but I feel like the trees that are planted in that parking lot just don't belong. They should be growing wild in a beautiful landscape somewhere. It has no business in this disgusting pavement filled with cracks and just ugly ass fucking cars, ugly ass people. And I know I'm not fucking good looking myself, but goddamn, even attractive people, theoretically, are just ugly to me. Not necessarily because of how they look, but just their matrix personality, their normie blue pill mentality. They're just ugly to me. And the fact that they're running around with a shit-eating grin on their face, amused by the world that I find to be dysmorphic, that they're amused by it like it's some kind of I don't know, a fucking amusement park, like they're in some kind of like the world is just a playground for their hedonistic expenditures. I mean, is there really anything in here that gives you pleasure? I mean, I could eat a candy bar and I can say, yeah, I got a little dopamine spike, but it was ultimately meaningless. It doesn't take away my reality dysmorphia. This is an ugly fucking place, man. It's nothing but just pavement filled with cracks, roads filled with cracks. Everything is either black, white, or gray. You go into these fucking department stores, and it's just, where's the artistry? What is this uglification that surrounds me? Is it deliberate, designed to make me go insane? Why is it such a colorless world? Why is everything black, white, and gray? Why are all of the cars black, white, and gray? Why are all of the articles of clothing black, white, or gray, dark gray in this case? Why do we live in a colorless world? Why do we live in a world that is a smileless world at that, where every smile that you see for the most part is fake? You could have this, oh, hello, how are you doing? I call bullshit. That's a fake smile. We live in a smileless world. We live in a colorless world. It's fucking ugly. And as I say this, I look around my very bedroom and I realize this a kind of hypocrisy. Because yeah, this background is kind of colorful and beautiful, but if you look at my wall, it's gray. The ground is gray tile. I'm starting to think that maybe depression, maybe not feeling good with being alive. So I get this feeling that comes over me where I don't like being alive. But then again, I don't hate being alive to the extent that I would end my life. I'm in that limbo zone. I'm in that kind of no man's land where I kind of flirt with the idea, and I'm even sort of aroused and comforted by the idea that that is an escape. But I guess I don't hate the world enough to end my life, but boy, do I strongly dislike it. And why is that? There's no color here. And when you are depressed, even if the world was like transformed into a aesthetic architectural beauty, I don't think it would rid my depression, and it might still look ugly to me. Because even if you're surrounded by color and things that are pleasing to the eye, when you're depressed, it's colorless. What adds insult to injury is I'm already a depressive adult, but I feel that the colorless world adds insult to injury. The world is like a morgue. Everybody's dead. Everything is dead. Everything's wrapped in plastic. Things are either white, black, or gray, sometimes brown, but it's ugly. The same depression that you feel going into a hospital for the same reason that can make you go mad. Just the appeal of the place. Same with a prison. Everything's just concrete, metal bars, bricks in the wall. Come on. Where's the novelty? Where's the salience? Where is the beauty? What is the deal with the uglification of this world? And I suffer from this reality dysmorphia, where basically everything appears disinteresting and ugly to me. But I feel that it's not a mental illness. It's those who have body dysmorphia who are average or even above average in physical attraction, that is a kind of mental illness. But I feel that I'm actually seeing the world for what it is. It is a boring, meaningless, ugly piece of shit. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. Who is responsible for the architecture of America? Why is there no color? Why do all of the buildings and the places of commerce have to be like a Minecraft? Like, imagine if you were a Minecraft player and you showed them a world like this, you would be criticized by people who are an expert at that game because they're like, dude, everything that you make is made out of big ass square cobblestone material. There's no architectural sophistication. That's how I feel about this world. Everything is just made of just these disgusting squares of cobblestone. There's no color. There's no health. There's no sanity. It's just consumeristic, capitalistic filth. It pisses me off. But the uglification, which is the objective reality that I see that nobody else seems to see, that causes me to have this reality dysmorphia. When I look at it, and I declare it's vile filth. But it's so underwhelming and it's so boredom inducing that it's almost hard to be antagonistic towards it. Where's the hospital bed? So I can take a nap and lift my feet up. That's how I feel. But the antagonism is there, it's just subtle. Nothing has fucking meaning. There's no novelty. There's no salience. It's just a colorless world with mediocre Minecraft cobblestone architecture. Fuck this place. We live in a world of critics. People like to review everything, give it a 1 star, or in some cases, a 5-star review. But what if that same mentality, instead of applying it to a fast food item or a certain product that is purchasable, you rate reality itself? That's something I think about quite often. I consider myself a critic of reality itself. Ladies and gentlemen, I give it a 1 star. Do you think that's harsh? Usually when some food reviewer gives an item of fast food poison a 1 star, it's because it tastes gross or not good. It's flavorless. He gives it a 1 star. That's how I feel about this reality. It is anhedonia inducing, where you can't feel any pleasure because the pleasure is underwhelming and it results in a more formidable type of pain that comes with it. There's no pleasure in this reality. You think I drink this Miller Lite because it gives me pleasure? No, it just makes me feel a little bit less miserable. A little less miserable. We all have our copes. Alcohol, unfortunately, is my cope. Cigarettes are my cope. Do I like these things? No. They ruin my life. I have to take fucking an inhaler because I have asthma-like symptoms because I smoke. I feel shitty all the time because I wake up and I'm like usually hungover. You think I like that? Oh, I fucking hate it. We live in a world that sucks so much that the things that we use as coping mechanisms to deal with reality dysmorphia, they are dopamine inducing. But when you have anhedonia, what good is dopamine? It's not like when I was in my early 20s. I drink beer and I was like, this is fucking awesome. I smoke cigarettes and I'm like, oh wow, what a head rush that is. But now it's just sort of just an addictive compulsion that I have that is supposed to produce dopamine, but I'm like fucking, I'm like fucking 10 beers deep right now and I hardly feel as though I have caught a buzz. It seems to do something because I'm like the dog returning to its vomit. I seem to can't stand sobriety. I always go back to it. We have our copes. What are your copes? Let me know in the comment section down below and answer me this. Do these copes make life more tolerable? The answer for me is yes and no. Mostly no, but yes. What a paradox. What a world. What a world that's so meaningless that it gives you anhedonia on account of the reality dysmorphia and all of the things that are your coping mechanisms that either distract you from how much you hate the world or try to produce some kind of a dopaminergic release of pleasurable hormones hardly does a thing, but apparently it's better than nothing. What are your copes? You're in a bad mood. You go fucking fap to some pornographic images. Do you feel better during or after the fact? Does your consideration change about this world? What about video games? What about watching mindless fictional entertainment on Netflix? That's another thing about this reality. So much for a fucking paintbrush to make the world look a little more colorful and beautiful, but even though we live in this ugly ass colorless world, what's worst of all is all of the things that are at our disposal is just fucking trash. Entertainment is just trash. Video games are just trash. It didn't used to be that way, but video games have become so bad that everybody's fucking returning to like Call of Duty games that are being remastered for the PS5 that were made in like 2007, 8, 9, and 10 because the world in the gaming industry has not been able to produce a video game that's actually worth the fucking money. Video games nowadays suck. Entertainment nowadays sucks. Most people go back to the old reliables. They go to like old school Malcolm in the Middle, maybe that 70s show, Breaking Bad, Sons of Anarchy. I can think of a few entertainment things that were enjoyable at the time, but we go back and we rewatch the same shit that we've already seen 1,000 times because nothing that's being produced in this world is any fucking good. It's all just trash. The food is just trash. The entertainment is just trash. I work hard to put $100 in my pocket of spending money, and I have all of these things that I could purchase with that, which are little what I refer to as faggot fudge packer treats. That's what they are. What? What am I going to put in my shopping cart today? Pesticide Induced produce? Well, that seems to be the best of our option. Sure, we could get the organic grapes and the organic apples, but they're like fucking $30 a pound for some fucking reason. But over here, you can get a big thing, it's in bulk, and it's like way less money. It's like I'm not a fucking. What do I look like, a fucking millionaire to you, huh? What are we going to put in our shopping cart today? Microwavable food items, Miller Lite, cigarettes. If you're a degenerate like me, maybe. But it just doesn't do it for me anymore. This reality sucks so bad. My anhedonia is so severe. So much reality dysmorphia that even the things that I say that I use for, quote, enjoyment as coping mechanisms, it's just trash, but I guess it's like a superior kind of trash because at least it might make you feel decent for a short little while. But as far as I'm concerned, it's just nonsense. It's just fucking nonsense. Copes. What good are your copes? What do you mean your copes? Smoke a little weed, drink a little beer, eat some fucking Pop Tarts and M&Ms and Skittles while you watch what? While you watch reruns of some show you've already seen 1,000 times that you don't even want to watch anymore because it was fun at the time. But I go back to this because everything now seems to suck. Go back to that fucking Call of Duty that I played in 2010. Go back to watching Sons of Anarchy or maybe The Sopranos because everything else is just shitty. What are your copes, huh? Video games. See, these things suck, actually. They just distract you. They put you in an alternate universe. Temporarily. That is based in a kind of simulacrum. Even though this reality as we know it is a simulation of sorts, the simulation sucks so bad that we find that simulations within the simulation to distract us from how bad the primary simulation sucks. So we watch entertainment, we play video games. Jacking off to porn is obviously a simulacrum because it's not the woman in your presence, but it's a pixelized video of things that were done in the past. And it just is designed to be a kind of stimuli behind a screen that is a simulacrum to be a cope. But even if it wasn't for these copes, well, you mean to tell me that getting a girlfriend and settling down is going to give your life meaning? It's going to cure you of your anhedonia. It's going to cure you of your reality dysmorphia. Yeah, right. That's just going to create stress, heartbreak, and all kinds of problems. You're better off beaten off, my friend. Where are you going to go? What is it in this world that you want to see? Oh, well, maybe we can go to Paris. Maybe we can go to Japan. Why? It's the same fucking thing as America as far as the architectural crime against humanity, aesthetically speaking. Where everything is colorless, everything is ugly, they're trying to sell you poison. The only difference is people look different and they speak a different language, and the scenery is new to you, so it might have a kind of novelty, but if you were to move to Paris or you were to move to, like, Japan or something, you would find that you have the same reality dysmorphia that you have in America. What do I rate this world as a reality critic? I give it 1 star. Sometimes I have decent days or even good days where I say, yeah, this day, despite the fact that I live in a hell realm, maybe today was a good day. But even in a good mood, you ask me to rate the reality itself, rate the country of America itself. I give it a 1 star. And if I can give it 0 stars, I would. because this is an ugly, boring-ass world that offers you nothing but garbage. The scenery is hideous. But the scenery is not the point, it's to get you in there to buy shit. What is available for your purchasing power? Just a bunch of garbage. And the things that you love the most that offer you your coping mechanism to deal with this reality, even those things suck. You don't even know why you fucking do it. I'm an alcoholic. This alcohol sucks. I smoke cigarettes. Cigarettes suck. Everything sucks. Even the things that we do to make life more tolerable sucks. That's how much this world is just a pain in the ass to me, and I wish I had never been born. I swear to God, I wish I'd never been born. Curse the womb in which the stomach of my mother became pregnant and birthed me into this world in March 26, 1997. I love my mother, but I must say, curse that fucking womb. Don't curse my father. He's a good man, but curse that seed that fertilized that fucking egg. Fuck that semen. Fuck that egg. Fuck that fetus. Fuck that pregnant stomach, because now it's personal. You brought me here because of that shit. Now it's personal. Parents think, oh, how far along are you? Oh, I'm 6 months. I'm due in just a couple. Oh, I'm excited to become a mommy. Oh, I'm excited to become a daddy. But what about? I mean, could you have put a hypothetical microphone up against that pregnant stomach when you were getting an ultrasound and scream in there, "Hey, do you want to be born? Are you excited?" I couldn't say yes or no because I don't even have a memory of what it's like to be in my mother's stomach. But then I was bored. Why was I born? Evidently, I was born to be bored out of my mind in a colorless world, in a smileless world filled with fake smiles, filled with suffering. I would give it, as a reality critic, a 1-star review. That's not even the worst of it. You think the worst aspects of this reality are the fact that entertainment is trash, that the items that people are selling to you in the grocery store is trash, that food is trash, that everything sucks, and we live in a world that's fucking ugly? How superficial do you think I am? That's the least of my reality dysmorphia. Reality dysmorphia, in my definition, simply describes a feeling where reality feels boring, ugly, disinteresting, etc. But you think that's the most of my worries? No, the most of my worries is the fact that suffering exists. Physical, psychological. We live in a world filled with decrepency, disease. People are impoverished. People can't afford to live. People are in a 9-to-5 slave job. There's war. People are brainwashed. People are slaves, and they love it. Those are the most of my worries, but I've talked about that in other videos. In this video, I'm mainly focusing on how this world seems to have no choice but to produce depression. It has no choice but to produce reality dysmorphia, anhedonia. What good is dopaminergic things to consume when you don't even fucking produce dopamine? Nothing feels good anymore. Everything sucks. Even our coping mechanisms suck. but it's better than not having copes. I have nothing against homosexuals. In fact, I'm pro-gay marriage. I don't necessarily care as far as that's concerned, but hear me out. Homoeroticism is one thing, but this world is just a faggot-ass fucking pigsty. It brings faggotry to a whole new level. Show me two guys fucking, and I'll say, that's kind of gross in my opinion. I'm straight. It's gay as hell, actually. Let me give you two gentlemen some privacy. Sorry, I forgot to knock. But this world, politicians, government, fucking Walmart, Dollar General, 7-Eleven, me working my 9-to-5 slave job, me making shit money, me filling my shopping cart with a bunch of fucking poisonous bullshit. It's all just faggotry. It's just faggot-ass shit, man. That's how I feel about this world. And they say, you gotta think positive. That's where happiness is. But you know something? Toxic positivity is the result of positive thinking. To me, on the other hand, intrusive thoughts are not negative thoughts. Intrusive thoughts are actually positive thoughts because they try to lie to me. They try to tell me that this world is better than it seems. And there's a part of me that wants to latch on to these positive ideas. Because if I change my worldview into a more optimistic paradigm, then life will become more tolerable, but I just can't. You know why? Because when it comes to the juxtaposition of truth versus falsehood, something I've noticed is that falsehood is always the toxic positivity of positive thinking. It's based in deception. But world weariness, the kind that comes with perpetual negative thought processes towards life itself, towards just about everything, those are the thoughts that seem to be based in truth. Think about it. What do you say? Imagine if you're an optimist and you have this toxic positivity where you're always having positive thoughts about every fucking thing. Oh, the pieces of shit that they are. What do they say? They say, government is good. It's for the protection of the people, and it's necessary. Taking my kids to school, it's good because they're getting an education. And I'm on the right side of history because I'm a registered Democrat. Down with the patriarchy. Everything is racist. Everything is homophobic. You gotta stop climate change. Be sure to wear your mask and get your injection because government cares about you. We live in a world that's out for your best interest. Everything is what it seems. The definitions that are pre-established towards everything in this reality, that's exactly what it is. We know that that's not true. We know that the opposite is truth. So if you want to be in alignment with truth, you ought to just treat every positive thought that arises in your mind that tries to lie to you as the true intrusive thought. And you pluck that rotten fruit out before it injures its neighbors, before it poisons your mind, or it poisons your soul, before it turns you into a blue-pilled normie. Fuck that shit. The truth of the matter is, apply negative thoughts to just about everything, and there you have the truth. Government is slavery. Government is mind control. And the people are mind-controlled slaves because of psychological warfare. That is the truth. The food is poisonous. Education systems are indoctrination camps. Universities are designed to uh, be a communist breeding ground. And then, while brainwashing you, put you up to your eyebrows in the sewage of debt, a debt you can never pay off, just to get a piece of paper that's not even going to be able to make it so you get a job. So many people I know, they have PhDs, they have a master's degree in neuroscience, psychology, quantum physics, but there they are as a cashier working at fucking Starbucks, flipping burgers at Burger King. And yet they wanted to get that PhD so they can get a good paying job, but they just wound up brainwashed and in debt. Oh, you think so negative? Yes, and that's a good thing, because I tell you the truth. If I was to tell you contrary wise, then I would be lying to you. The truth of the matter is that we live in a world that is negative. And you're not even necessarily a pessimist for recognizing that fact. You are a realist. Pessimism and realism are synonyms. I'm not a bad guy for saying that this is a shitty fucking world. Fuck your dialectics, man. Humanity with your fucking dialectics, with your religiosity versus atheism, with your conservative versus Democrat. Fuck you. You optimistic pieces of shit. Because you're lying to yourself, you're lying to the world around you. You are deluded and you are creating the prison with your optimistic stupidity of which I have to live because you refuse to call a slave and a spade a spade. You can't call a spade. Because if you were to become a pessimistic realist, you would bear the weight of reality dysmorphia on your shoulders, and that would be unbearable. And that would breed into depressive anhedonia and whatever comorbidities that might come with seeing reality for what it is, which might include various mental and emotional disturbances. You might not be able to function in the fucking world after all. You might not be able to hold down a job. You might have to live with your parents at the age of fucking 30 and beyond if they're still alive to support you to begin with, because you just can't function. When you see the world for what it is, your functionality as an adult is inevitably going to go into the shitter. You're going to be a low functioning adult because you just want zero participation with everything. But participation is mandatory and it makes you go out there and grin and bear it, even though you can't grin and you can't bear it. So you just barely bear it while faking a smile. Fuck this faggot ass matrix. A lot of times in my feed, particularly on Facebook, I get these rise and grind type of people. This productivity cuck culture that says that if you're depressed, that just means you're a bitch. If you are impoverished, that just means you're a bitch. You need to get up early and you need to go to the gym. You need to lift weight. You need to lose weight. You need to intermittent fast. And then you can get bitches and you can make money and you'll be happy. But if you don't get bitches and you don't make money and you're depressed, then you're just a bitch. You ever come across these videos in your feed? These fucking Tony Robinsons? Positive thinking, positive thinking. Or these other types that say, get your ass out of bed at 3:30 in the morning and go to the gym and pump some iron. That's going to solve all of your problems. Bro, if I was to take their advice, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with waking up early and going to the gym and intermittent fasting and embracing sobriety or whatever, but if I was to do those things, maybe I'd be skinnier, maybe I'd be more muscular, maybe my excess productivity would improve my mood ever so slightly, but at the end of the day, Or, as Joshua would say, at the end of the Matrix, Joshua S. Jones, or Joshua S. John, I'll leave a link to his channel that I pin in the comment section if you're not familiar with his channel. I like his channel a lot, but he often says, instead of at the end of the day, he says at the end of the Matrix. So I say, at the end of the Matrix, it doesn't matter if I have a low body fat percentage, if I'm muscular, and I wear a suit and tie, and I have good table manners, and I conduct myself like a gentleman in this world with politeness, or if I make a lot of money. Where it's like, oh, it's not a 9-to-5 slave job, bro. It's passive income. You make money in your sleep, bro. Dude, give, like if this is a fucking computer simulation, if it's like a kind of fucked up video game, if you like, give me all of the cheat codes. I press in a series of numbers and buttons and stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like an infinite money glitch. It's a change my physical appearance glitch. And then, it's like, I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I pump iron. I go to the gym. It would not matter to me, even if I did those things, because there's some people that just do not belong here because this world is wrong. This world is not worthy of their participation. These are a rare type of person, but they do exist. I'm one of them. You're probably one of them too. Many of you probably make a lot of money. Maybe you're fucking good looking and you do all of those things, not because you're being told by these optimists to do so, but maybe it just comes natural to you and you say, yeah, I still hate this world. I'm still depressed. I still don't like it here. How superficial is it to say, to be depressed means to be a bitch? You just gotta get a gym membership and you gotta eat salads and you gotta wake up early and all of your problems are gonna be solved. Make that passive income, bro. Invest in Bitcoin. These fuckers, man. And then they say, yeah, I'm happy. Be like me. Bro, give me infinite money glitch in this fucking world and I would still fucking hate this place. I don't like it at all. There's nothing that's going to change my consideration. Give me all of the beautiful women. Give me all of the money. Give me a mansion. That would convenience me. That might make life more tolerable, but I'm still going to say to you, with all certainty, all truthfulness, look you right in the eyes, my friend, and I say, regardless of that fact, I hate this fucking place. Because at the end of the Matrix, it's a matrix. It's artificial. It's not real. It's just psyop after psyop. A falsity that tries to convince you that it's real. And when you know that it's not real, the falsity is going to haunt your being like a demon. It's going to haunt your being like a bad dream in which you cannot wake up from. The falsity, the superficiality, the pain and agony because of seeing the world for what it is, because you refuse to let one of these optimistic, false thoughts arise in your mind. It's the, quote, good thoughts that are the intrusive thoughts, that are the first and foremost coping mechanism to prevent you from seeing reality for what it is. Get rid of that shit. Click the red button in the top right-hand corner of that fucking malware. Go to the truth. What is the truth? It's all of the negative thoughts that are based in truism that arise in your mind about this reality. Not the positive thoughts. The positive thoughts are the intrusive thoughts. Those are the thoughts you ought to get rid of. It's the negative thoughts that give you the truth. But at the end of the matrix, you're still here. And if I'm still here, it doesn't matter. My consideration is not going to change because I'm still here.